And now to get more from the community of El Paso, we've reached out to a city councillor there, Peter Svarzbein. He joins us now. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
First, I just want to start by asking you how you're reacting to this news and when you first heard it.
Well, it was another Saturday morning here. I was going out walking my dogs, and I got a text message from our El Paso Police 911 dispatch about an active shooter at a Walmart near Cielo Vista Mall on the east side of El Paso. I shared that with our different social media feeds, our Facebook, letting people know about it, and it's been a surreal experience.
Now, certainly we have been looking at the images from the scene too, and just the number of people who were at this particular shopping mall. What is a typical Saturday like at this particular location? How busy is it?
So that's a really good question. So that Walmart that's there on the east side and that mall, Cielo Vista Mall, are probably some of the most busiest malls and Walmarts that we have in our city. And quite honestly, they're one of the most busiest Walmarts that are there in the country. Our economy and our culture intertwined with our sister city in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico. So what you would be seeing at 11 o'clock at this Walmart would be tons of families, a lot of folks coming in from Juarez, Mexican nationals coming in to shop. It's a back to school weekend. So you'd see people out there, Mexican nationals. You probably see as many license plates from Chihuahua, Mexico as you would see from Texas that are out shopping, getting something to eat, and then going back home to Juarez later in the afternoon. So that's what you'd be seeing there. You'd be seeing the full force. We never really have had the same retail sort of shutdown with malls as you've seen in other communities across the United States because of our proximity to northern Mexico and our sister city of Ciudad Juarez.
Now, we also know that there's about, I think, 680,000 was the population that has been listed about your community. It seems like it's a pretty tight-knit community. How are people reacting there today? What have you heard from residents?
So, I mean, a lot of people are concerned. You know, when you talk about our community, it's about 900,000 in the county of El Paso. We have another 1.5 million that literally are right next door to our city in Ciudad Juarez. We share the same river valley, and then you have another 200,000 in Las Cruces, New Mexico. So we're looking at almost a population of 3 million people here. What has been going on is a lot of concern and shock. Our community has been dealing with a lot of the migrant issues that have been going on in our community. Has really stepped up with compassion and with heart in helping with these asylum seekers that have been coming through our community to go to their different destinations with their families in the United States. So we've been making it a point as a community as a whole to really step up. So to see something like this really sort of flies in the face of it. El Paso has been one of the safest communities in the United States for the better part of 10 years. With FBI's own information, we're consistently one of the safest cities above 500,000 people. It's usually us in New York going neck and neck for the safest city in the United States. So a shooting like this is really a sort of unconscionable thing. But let's be honest, this shouldn't be acceptable in any city in the United States, let alone anywhere in the world. And yet it's almost become commonplace to see these kind of shootings happening again and again in our cities in the United States. And it needs to stop.
And very finally, I wanted to ask you, Peter, what sort of message do you have for people living in your community who are learning of this news now? And quite certainly, we imagine most of them are alarmed.
Yeah, I would say that, it's important to understand that we have our best out with our police force, that, we need to pray for our first responders, our police and the other government organizations that are stepping up to make sure that we're kept safe during this. But that this is not what our city is about. We know that we're in a safe city. We know that we have a tolerant and loving city, and we need to be El Paso proud. And at a day like this, where we have folks coming from both sides of our border to come and shop and enjoy the best of what we have here in El Paso, we have to stand strong and say this isn't what we're about, and make sure that we fight the kind of evil that would want to see this happen in any community in the United States or in any community in this world.
Well, we very much appreciate your time today, Peter. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Have a great Saturday.
Peter Svarzbein is a city councillor. We reached him in El Paso.